We're going to start with The Nation. APC convention, Southwest picks Kekemeke and Umishere. Picture here of the ex-Eagles stars honored Tinubu at 70 with the Novelty March. 2 arrested for bikers' murder. Vessel held over suspected crude oil theft. Unions to cripple varsities. Buhari. Federal government reviewing Southeast security. Policemen not authorized to check customs paper. And 700,000 IDPs in my state, Governor laments. Okay?
Okay, let me start with the message from the police. So, police authorities have said policemen have no right to ask us for custom papers. That's motorists for custom papers, except they're on a joint patrol with officials of customs. That's the acting force public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi. And I will just read what he says. He said, no policeman should demand your customs paper, except they are on joint operation, but not just on routine checks. And for now, we have suspended the issuance of tinted glass permits, so we do not expect our men to disturb Nigerians for this. We are to stop any vehicle with tint, search the vehicles and its occupants, but not to delay them for not having tinted glass permits. Report them if you are so delayed so that we can ask them questions. He says any policeman demanding for more is a deviant and he must be dealt with. If not, many Nigerians will suffer from him and his likes. Don't die in silence. Speak out and save yourselves. So I just read it word for word just so that we know that this is coming directly from the police command telling us that we're not meant to stop for these particular documents. But he says that they can stop you if you have tinted windows to search you, but not necessarily to ask you for the permit, yes.
Okay, so unions are threatening to join us in the strike. The National Association of Academic Technologists are also starting their 2 weeks morning strike today. Now, SANU, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, and the Non-Academic Staff Union, Non-Academic Staff Union of Education, that's NASU, are also saying that they will join because, you know, the federal government is not looking into the issues of ASU. But the National Academic Staff Union of Technologists are saying their issues are separate. They're also asking government to implement 2009 agreement that they have with them. Now, the federal government on their own part is saying, you people should not just try us. We'll just do no work, no pay rule against employees that go on strike. So this continuous clash seems to be unending. But I don't think it is impossible to resolve. I think that, you know, just the right mindset will help resolve it.
So I want to quickly take a story from the Nigerian Navy acknowledging the good work that they're doing because they have been able to arrest on March 17th. They arrested a motor tanker called Harbor Spirit for alleged illegal activity within the country. So they arrested it at Bonny Waters. It was carrying crude oil, and it didn't have the right documentation. So they suspected that it was stolen crude oil, bunkering and all of that. And so they said this also 2 days before this arrest, they also found another motor tanker on the waterways carrying crude oil without proper documentation. I want to applaud the Nigerian Navy for doing this because we lose a lot of our funds that could come from crude oil due to we Nigerians ourselves stealing from our common wealth. Crude oil is still our major source of income, and so we should. This is something we're hurting our own economy. I'm happy the Navy is doing what they can to reduce occurrence of such by catching them.
All right, so I was going to take the story because the president was saying that they have to review the security situation in the southeast. This is following the attack by gunmen in Imo State. They set fire to the house and reportedly torched other houses believed to belong to the professor. That's Professor George Obiozo's house. It was a really, really horrible situation over the weekend, and the president strongly condemned it and said it's deeply distressing, and the destruction of the Imo State building, and he is definitely going to work strongly to ensure they restore peace to that region, especially to tighten the security apparatus within that area. I mean, it was really horrible. The professor's home was just torched. Unknown gunmen as usual. That's what it is here. Moving on quickly to the Punch. Southwest governors reject Buhari's allies as secretary and vice chair. Picture here of protesters and security forces protesting in Tunisia against the suspension of the mixed presidential parliamentary system. Obiano's water drinking video, EFCC on witch hunt alleges APGA. Father of 4 arrested with 20.7 kg black liquid cocaine from Brazil. Farmers' headers clashes. Afenifere faults planned law to make non-natives indigenes. Over 70% of drug dispense in Nigeria substandard, says NPHCDA. Saraki Tambo meets planned consensus candidates to lobby Atiku. Malami Oke, seizure of Kyari's complices, property, and accounts. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, the primary healthcare. You want to take?
I could start with the Obiano story, because what happened was that APGA is alleging that they're obviously trying to witch hunt the former governor of Anambra State, Obiano, because of the video that leaked from EFCC. It says, this was like, there's a pastor, let me get his name. It was once saying, I think Ebu Munso said it when he was declaring, and it was actually an audience in a ministry over the weekend, was saying that the fact that somebody, an official of EFCC, released that video in itself, that person should be arrested for what they did, and it shows that the EFCC is actually intending to witch hunt the ex-governor. And it was really annoying for me. Why would you record the ex-governor in the drinking water and then post it? I think it was very, very irresponsible.
And I think the person should be investigated. Let's not just use mouths to say...
Yeah, it's totally wrong. I found the video very disturbing. They can't do anything in this country. Get someone is recording you, and it's just horrible. Okay, another story in Punch.
Yes, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency has said that over 70% of the medical drugs being dispensed in Nigeria are substandard. They gave these details and several other data on their website ahead of their Primary Healthcare Summit tagged Reimagine Primary Healthcare in Nigeria. So they also added that majority of Nigerians do not have access to healthcare services because, majority of Nigerians do not use primary healthcare services within their areas immediately. They said that 20% of all maternal deaths globally occur in Nigeria, and that infant mortality occur at the rate of 19 deaths per 1,000 births. Children under 5 are dying at the rate of 128 per 1,000, and over 70% of our medical drugs are substandard. And I'm wondering, what are we going to do with this data that we are just reeling out? Because this is on their website. They are just, when it's the time for awareness, we talk. We have the data to help us, improve on health services.
We don't do anything about it.
We just reel it out every once in a year when we are doing our conferences.
Yeah, I have this story. NDLEA has arrested a 52-year-old businessman, Okeke Anya Ochuku. He was arrested with what is called black liquid cocaine. They said that he was arrested at the Abuja airport, and while they were searching his luggage, they found that black liquid cocaine packed in smaller bags with makeup and mascara that tested positive for cocaine. He's married, he has 4 children. He said that while in Brazil, he met with someone at a drinking joint who offered him the drugs to deliver to Nigeria for a sum of 2 million naira, and that's how he got into it. But what he originally does is that he deals in children wares. So as usual, it always seems like this is my very first time. I was just walking, and then someone said, please, can you do this for me? But he's been arrested. And of course, NDLEA gave us other reports in Kaduna as well. People were arrested with over 18,000 tablets of tramadol, diazepam, and different ones. In Anambra State, NDLEA too was doing its job as he intercepted a bus, going to Aba from Onitsha with drugs. So, as usual, well done, NDLEA, and Nigerians, we should really, think about this drug business that...
Okay, which other story?
Farmer headers. So the Afenifere faults the plan of the National Assembly to review the change in our constitution. Remember that the Speaker of the the Assembly mentioned, that's Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, mentioned on March 8th that there would be a review of 3, they will vote on 3 of the policies. One of them is the foreigners married to Nigerian women. second is indigenship, and the third one is 35% affirmative action. So the indigenship is the one that the Afenifere National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Jare Ajayi, is not happy with. That there's already a crisis of farmer header issues. You shouldn't, while they support residency for those that are not citizens, indigenes, don't confer indigenship on everybody because they live there, because it would increase the crisis already happening, where anybody can say, oh, my family was born here, so I take ownership, I'm an indigene of this state. So he's of the opinion that of this amendment, this one should not be amended, that we believe and agree every Nigerian has a right to live in any part of the country, but we are also realistic enough to acknowledge the fact that every group anywhere in the world normally has a place that will be regarded as a native land, and the process should not be claimed by a law. So that's their opinion.
That's quite debatable. Interesting. Moving on quickly to Daily Sun. Okay, let me go on a break first. When we come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the newspapers. Let's continue with Daily Sun. Northern PDP aspirants ready for consensus, says Saraki. DMO explains Nigeria's public death profile. Police foil attack on Uzodiman's community. Killed 4, recover bombs. Power sector on brink of collapse over greed, 14 idle plants. Third force mega political party to hold congresses and primaries in April. Banditry, Matawale begs Nigerians to assist 700,000 IDPs in Zamfara. And Abia Guba, Uhuhu monarch supports power shift to Ngwa side of Abia Central. All right, which stories are we taking?
Okay, so I have the story, the power sector on brink of collapse over low-grade 14 idle plants. So the report first just took us through our problem. Nigerians complaining and shouting. We know of the load shedding. We know of the collapse of the grid. And so the general manager and spokesperson at Transmission Company of Nigeria, Mrs. Ndidimba, tried to give us a summary of what is happening exactly. So she named 14 gas power generating stations that were either not generating at all or had limited generation capacity. Because of time, I'm not going to read them out. So she named all of them. So it's either low generation or they've just been idle for a long period. Also, within the same period, Jeba Hydro and Shiroro power generating stations are were either out or had limited generation as well, causing additional loss of 232 megawatts from the grid. While other power generating plants, she named all those ones too, either they've been out or, for one fault or the other, scheduled for maintenance, causing further loss of about 3,180 megawatts from the grid. So the story is of generating plants, either, they are out of service, waiting for maintenance to be done on them, completely out, have been idle for a long time. And just the compilation of all these things is why we're going through what we're going through. No lights.
Yes, that's a major issue. That hopefully will be one of our topics today. So the third force, remember, we're all the much anticipated third force mega party. They'll be holding their Congress primaries and the convention to elect their standard bearers and general elections, and those who are going to be their candidates for the general elections coming 2023. This was said by their spokesperson, Belikis Bello. It says the NC Front, they call themselves the National Consultative Front, and they're going to be having, and they're hoping that people who are defective of other parties, they have to go through a thorough screening before they bring it to ensure that they align very well with their own charter. They're saying that, let me quote her here, quote him, said that the mega political party of choice will be unveiled within the week in Abuja, after which collection of nomination forms and expression of interest forms will be thrown open for intending party executives at all levels, as well as aspiring party candidates for the 2023 elections. She also disclosed that special concession will be given to women, youths, and people living with disabilities. So we're all waiting for this third force. This week is the week. We are hoping that, this week, I think also APC convention is on Saturday, March 26th. The PDP also coming together. So everybody, the next few weeks, we should know everybody's candidates, or have an idea where they're heading to. So we're looking forward to it because next year is already elections and it's around the corner. Okay, any other story in Sun? Let's move on quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. PDP presidential tickets, Governors Atiku who draw battle line, Saraki, Tambuwa, Bala opt for consensus. Flood displaces 7 community in Niger State. Over 60 children down as outbreak of measles hits Benue IDP camps. Picture here of thousands protesting in Madrid, Spain on Sunday over the soaring prices of food, electricity, fuel, amongst others, exacerbated by the Russia's invasion of Ukraine. APC convention, governor, senator split over chairman and youth leader. Banditry created 700,000 IDP camps in Zamfara's Matawale. Special reports, 296 billion naira Abuja metro train lie idle as FCT residents face transportation woes. Okay, let me see. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so this story from the IDP camps in Benue State, they said no fewer than 60 children are reportedly down with measles. There are different camps. We named 3 camps that they had 30 children confirmed that had measles, but then they are spread also across the other camps. And although the Benue State government is saying that there's no need to panic, that they are working on it with the government and the Ministry of Health and non-governmental organizations such as UNICEF and Doctors Without Borders to tackle it. Even Doctors Without Borders said that the organization has been supporting the IDP camps and helping with children with things like that with measles since 2018, and they are going to, help again in this case. It's really a sad situation. You're displaced, and then I guess just living in that sort of environment that does not allow for people to move around. You have a child or a few have it, and then it becomes an outbreak. But also, this is for the rest of us who are not in camps to pay attention and make sure your children are getting vaccinated and all the other things that need to be done. But it clearly shows that these children at the camps need more interventions, health interventions.
Right. The weather is very hot. This is the time to make sure that there's
So this picture story caught my attention, where people are protesting in Spain, Madrid, over the soaring prices of food, electricity, and amongst so many other things that happen. And what that picture communicated to me is that, listen, we have to own our problems in Nigeria and Africa, because many parts of the world, people are having similar problemms. And when things burn in Nigeria, they're not going to listen to you because they're going to prioritize their own people, their own economies. Yeah. Even we've seen it with Ukraine. God forbid it didn't happen in the U.S. or in Canada, where our people are. God forbid they have to prioritize their own citizens. God forbid they have to prioritize even those who are not naturalized. They can say, you are naturalized, you only got your citizenship 2 years ago. You know what, the person was born here. There are different things that they can use to alienate us. So as we are joining the world, the Twitter people in burning down Nigeria, oh, this happened, oh, this. Let's remember that there's nowhere else to run to. There is absolutely, for you that have a second passport, you think I can run away. Trust me, you become second, they'll remind you that you're a second-class citizen in this kind of time. So that really ministered to me when I saw that people are actually still protesting, and we might have this kind of protest in Nigeria because it's really getting worse. When our protest, let's do it within the confines of the law and ensure that we don't burn down this country.
So I want to take the story on fuel scarcity and the metro. So it's a special report by Tribune, and it's talking about the Abuja metro, the train that cost Nigeria 296 billion naira to put together has been under lock and key since 2020. So the reason they locked down this train was because of COVID. Now, we all know that every other thing has opened up after COVID. They have not opened up this particular place. Only for the investigation to find out, it's not even this alone, that even before the lockdown, it was not a sustainable business. It was not running at profits. Apparently, there wasn't a real need for that asset to be there. And this asset cost us 296 billion naira again. They said sometimes the passenger, all the 5 coaches would have 20 passengers to the airport because the transition is between the airports and, he said, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Abuja. It's in Abuja. So now people are complaining now that maybe because of fuel scarcity, if the train is working, it will give citizens another option for transportation. And I'm looking at it that a lot of times politicians are quick to building gigantic infrastructure, which would cost us a lot of money, but is not essential to our everyday need. But it will look good on paper. We will all celebrate it. But do we really need it? Maybe the location.
To encourage
people to use it. You know, especially now, we should be working. This is they shut down for COVID, and COVID has been.
Yeah, because I know many people take their cars to the airport. We picked up.
We have to wrap up. Let's quickly run to the Vanguard. Is there any story we've not taken that is really important? The major headline: energy crisis, 600 naira per litre. Kerosene hits nation's poor. Name one take that straight to wrap up.
Yeah, so the report is just as Miriam took it, but a more detailed report, including the sources of power. So Vanguard says that we've remained at 2,000 plus megawatts over the weekend, even though the federal government gave a reassurance over the weekend as well that, you know, things were getting better. Then household kerosene has gone up from 400 naira per litre to 600 naira per litre. And, you know, of course, this is the lowest cadre that will be suffering this. They also took aviation fuel going up to 800 naira per litre. And then they went on to the issues in the power sector. They had the Association of Power Generation Companies who blamed this on the poor payment of GENCOs. The GENCOs are saying MBET has to pay the unutilized capacity charge. MBET is also saying if a GENCO does not show, you know, continuous... yeah, you can go.
Sorry about that, Nima. I had to wrap up but it was important for us to also take Mrs. Ebele Chukwu's position, Obiano, who said that, listen, she went to go and, remember, for those of you that read the story of Bianca and Mrs. Ebele last week, she is saying that she went to go and greet Bianca. And she was shocked that she got insulted and got a slap. She came to go and greet you cordially. So let us not always assume here only one side of the story. That is all we can take on this. Stay with us. Move on to our hot topics. Don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.